Okay, very
All
good.
right, perfect. All right. So where have you interacted with astrology before?
Man, never have, bro. As you can see, I'm a child of the '70s, so my astrology stuff was Cancer, and my name is Larry.
Yeah.
It's music and stuff like that, and the whole "what's your sign" thing back in the day. So I've heard little bits and pieces, man. But I'm coming at this, man, as a novice. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Sesame Street, I'm you Big Bird, and I'm Bird and Ernie. Let's go. You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
I'm
Perfect.
just
Perfect.
very interested in learning, man.
Yeah.
Not
But
much at
I,
all.
when I was in school, I was very curious about how we learn, and I studied educational psychology, basically the psychology of how we learn. And what I learned is that any new information we pick up is always built on top of older information. Right, because if we take in new information and we don't have anything that we already know or we're already comfortable with, the new information has nothing to stick to. So I like to get people to realize that yes, it's kind of brand new, but in a sense, it's you've known this your whole life.
Hmm.
You just haven't had the language to be able to like put words to it. And
Hmm.
really what I'm teaching you is the language or the words to be able to understand, talk about, manipulate, and explain your internal experience. Because this is what a chart is giving. It's a map of what's on the inside.
Sure.
Right. So we have these we can call them emotions. That's all this water, 100%, 100%.
That's what
We
he
can
was
call it
saying. Yeah.
emotions. Yeah. I mean, because look, you got there's 10 planets, okay, and you got all but two of them in water. Right? Like that, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before. Okay. But so what it means is it's a lot of water, okay, which is wonderful. Okay, but what's difficult is if knowing what to do with it, knowing what to do with it.
Yes, Lord.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, knowing
Yes.
what to do with it. Okay. And like right, and I say a prayer for your parents because they were the right, they were the first ones that had to learn to deal with it.
Hmm.
And so much of how they learned to deal with it, okay, right, is they pretty much taught you how to deal with it. Okay. So when I talk to people about their chart, that's usually one of the first things that we have to like attend to or at least address is understanding, you know, one, how did your parents deal with all of this water? Okay. How did they teach you to deal with it? Okay. And which part of the ways that they taught you to deal with it were useful and helpful, and what parts were not. And then saying the parts that were not, maybe it's time to like look at those and maybe get rid of those.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Well, let's see. I guess with my mother, man, she often says that we're a lot alike.
Hmm.
She's a Gemini. Her birthday is May 25th, and so a lot of the emotional stuff that I've gone through over the years, she'll say things like, I understand, or she would say, trust me, you just like me. You take things the same way I take them. Um, so she's never, I had a kind of a wacky childhood, man. My parents got divorced in '75. I was 8 years old, and then we moved to South Bend, Indiana for 6 years, and then I had a crazy stepdad. So the way he dealt with it was to call me names and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yep.
crybaby,
Yep.
and,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's
he
it. That's it.
he
That's
was
it.
overly macho guy. You know what I mean? He was a
Yeah.
cop. He was a
Yeah.
stalker.
Yeah.
And all of that. So he tried to make me into something that I wasn't. That was
Yeah.
his. That
Yeah.
was his thing.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it right there. That's it right there. So in astrology, okay. Now we'll get into big burden. Okay. So the basics here. Okay. Astrology is three overlapping symbol systems. Okay. Planets, signs, and houses. Planets, signs, and houses. So the planets are these symbols right here. Okay. And in astrology, we use 10 planets. Okay. And we call the sun and the moon planets in astrology. So we use the sun, the moon, the planet Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay. And I'm doing this for the video so that if you want to learn more, that you have like where the starting point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you like to, I mean, and this is interesting, learning even to draw the different ones helps to memorize what they are. Okay. So these are the planets. Okay. Planet signs and houses. So the planets are the dynamic forces. Okay. It's interesting that the planets are named after gods. Okay. And I think that there's a clue here. Right. And I always say the gods get what they want. Okay. The gods get what they want. Okay. Another way I think of the planets to make them more personal, more psychological, the planets are the voices in our head. The voices in our head. Okay. And if we go a little bit deeper, where do those voices come from? Okay. I have an 8-month-old and he's not talking yet, but when he wants something, he just grunts, and he has certain kind of grunts. And we know, okay, that's what he wants. But eventually those grunts are going to turn into words. Okay. So before the voices in our heads, before we could talk, they were just urges. So the planets represent the inner urges, okay? The inner urges that are, well, like any urge, all it wants is satisfaction. It just wants satisfaction, okay? Right? We get hungry, okay? This is an urge to consume something, okay? And it stays there, right? Until we consume something. And then it's, okay? These are the urges, okay? And so the planets represent the urges. And what we're saying is all human beings, okay? We all have these same 10 urges, okay? And all of these the combination of these 10 urges are what comprise one being, okay? One person. And so this is the beauty of understanding the chart, because it's a map of us. It's a map of our soul, and understanding the different composite urges that comprise the whole us, right? And it's like the solar system, okay? You got the sun, and then you have these planets that revolve around the sun, and that comprises one solar system. And we can think of ourselves as a solar system. We have one center and all these other functions and things revolving around it to create one whole being, okay? And so the sun is the symbol for the center of the solar system, okay? All right, and so the sun in the chart, that's why most people, when you say, what's your sign? Most people don't say, oh, my Jupiter sign is Cancer. They say their sun sign, because it's what everything revolves around. And one way to think of this is in the solar system. For us, in our solar system, the sun is the source of warmth, vitality, okay? Right? We wouldn't exist. If the sun wasn't here, it'd be dark and cold, and we'd be flying out into nowhere, right? The sun provides the warmth, the vitality, and it keeps everything in its orbit, okay? Keeps everything in its orbit. So the sun is the same thing for us. Okay, it's our identity. It's where we get our energy from. It's our urge for significance, our urge to be something. Because our urge to be something is the one force that generates all the other ones. Okay, if we didn't have the urge to be something, we would kill ourselves. Life's too damn hard. We'd be like, I'm out. But this urge to be, okay, it's so profound and it's so deep. This is the sun in astrology. Okay, so that's where it starts. But as the sun evolves, okay, it grows to be something that provides warmth and light and life to its environment. Okay, so there's a couple of environments. The first environment that we're talking about is the environment of you. Okay, you. Okay, right? There needs to be an alignment, an alignment inside of you of who am I? What am I here to do? Okay. And once we get that energy going, that's the energy that drives the whole system. Okay, we wake up in the morning, and the more we feel connected to, this is what I need to shine some way. And part of that is being in an environment that receives our shine. And another part is giving ourselves permission to let ourselves shine. Okay, and the sun in the chart gives us clues about how to do that, and things that will support the shine, and things that might need to be worked out to get the shine going. Okay. Right, this shine in your chart is very much supported. The sun is a positive sun. Okay, and I'll talk about why. But Pisces, okay, planets, signs, and houses. Okay, every individual has a sun. Every individual needs something that they're trying to become. Okay, all of us, right? We all need a reason to get up in the morning. Okay, and you'll tell someone who's really connected to their sun. Okay, you'll feel the warmth. Okay, right? They'll have something to offer. Right? You'll walk. It's impact. Okay, someone who's doing a good job with their sun is impact. Okay, And so that's the planet. And so you recognize the sun because of impact. Okay. The sign now, okay, planet signs. Signs tell us the attitude or the motivation, okay, the path to taking care of the planet, right? So the path to taking care of the planet, the sun, the vitality, okay, the urge to be something is a Pisces motivation, okay? The attitude of Pisces is I believe, okay? I believe. This is about faith, right? This is saying that the impact that you are here to have, right, is when people walk away from you, they believe more, right? They have more faith than they had before they interacted with you. Okay.
Yep. I can see that.
But so this is a highly spiritual chart. Okay. This is the kind of chart where if you're really being yourself, people should think that you're crazy. If you're really being yourself, conventional people should think that you are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No doubt.
I'm saying should, right? This is not a negative thing. Like,
no, I got you. No, I got you. It's just, to me, that was part of the reason why I wanted to do this, was because I grew up thinking that I was weird or, different. I cared about things that were different from other kids.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So, and so I used to feel bad. Like, how come I can't be hard like that? How come I can be like, don't give a damn? You know what I mean? But
not possible. Not possible.
Like,
not
even
possible.
when I got in fights as a kid, I never started any. I never started any. But even if I won the fight, I'd go home and feel bad because I hurt somebody. You know what I mean?
100%.
But just having my spirit feel that way,
Yeah,
that I had to react that way, is hurtful.
Yeah, 100%. So okay, like the image I just got as you said that, okay? And what I said earlier is the impact you have, okay, is that when people walk away from being around you, that they have more faith, they believe more, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I think of you in a fight, okay, right? And I think when I grew up going to church, this the idea of turn the other cheek. Okay, turn the other cheek. And if you really read the gospel, you really read the words of Jesus, like a conventional person would say, this person is crazy. Okay. But at the same time, people that experience him, they believe after. Okay.
Yes, I got
right. It. Because it's one thing to say turn the other cheek, but when someone gets smacked and you actually have the experience of them turning the other cheek, okay, it's not theoretical anymore. Okay. You've had the experience of it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. And so this chart, right, what I'm talking about, the sun, is rooted in the experience, the experience of spirituality, not the talking about it, not the thinking about it, not the dreaming about it, but the actual experience of it. Okay. And so the universe has said, because you are here to have these experiences, we are going to give you a lot of experiences to prove your faith.
Okay, so break that down a little bit. What you mean by that?
well, when you hear it, what is it like? What does it make you think of?
Well, I always say, when I'm talking to my kids or what have you, if I'm giving some sort of counsel or just sharing my thoughts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Situation.
Yeah.
I ain't telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah.
Through much suffering.
Yeah, so that's what I'm. Okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So
it gives me a heart for other people. My suffering makes me more empathetic. That's what I gather.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Because there's one thing for someone to say, right? For someone sitting on the mountain and everything be easy to say, just have faith. Mm-hmm. It's easy to say, okay, but it doesn't carry any weight. It doesn't inspire anyone. Mm-hmm. But when someone is saying have faith and they tell you their story, right? It's one of those things when you tell people your story, they get the experience of it. Okay. Right. And that's just what I'm saying. When people leave you, when people walk away from like the experience that you're able to give them, okay, priceless. Okay, priceless. So this is what I'm saying is like this is a if I'm using and you'll relate to this. This is a sacrificial life. This is a life that's not lived for other people. It's not lived for the self. This is a life that is lived for other people.
That's the gospel.
Because Yeah, because so all these planets in Pisces, right? Pisces, okay? Planets, signs, and houses. Planets, the sun, the vitality, right? It comes from sacrifice, right? It comes from sacrifice. So Pisces, this energy is a part of us that is able to recognize, okay, that there is no separation between you and I. Okay. It's this level of sensitivity. Okay. This level of sensitivity. Okay. And this is why it's difficult, because anytime we disobey that law, right, we will be reminded.
Yes.
Okay. We will be reminded. And it's difficult, it's suffering, but at the end of the day, if we learn, right, if we just pay attention, okay, at the end of our life, it's real. Okay. There's a halo. It's real though. It's earned. Okay. It's earned. And this is like, I'm saying, getting goosebumps as I say this. This is the sun in the 12th house in Pisces. Okay. Right. The vitality comes from the ability to be the embodiment of the kind of compassion that suffering can engender. Okay. Because there is no right. You hit someone and you had to defend yourself. Okay. You had to, but you go home and you feel there's something not right here. Okay. There's something not right here. Okay. Whew. Right. Whew. Okay. So that's the sun. Okay. So that's the planet in the sign. And now the houses, planet, signs, and houses. Each of these, there's 12 houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And each of these houses relate to a certain area of life. Okay. So for instance, if you, and when you say a lot of suffering, I know based on this chart, planets in the 7th house. Okay. I know that 7th house is the house of relationships, partners. So I know that one of the major areas of suffering has been relationships, partners. Okay. And I know that the 8th house is the house of death. So I know one of the areas of suffering has been around death. Okay. Death. Okay. So the houses are about areas of life. And the 12th house is suffering, loss, but compassion, right? It's I think of it as the houses are just for to lay out more the kind of spatial geometry, mathematics of this. Okay. What the chart represents is where the planets were, literally where the planets were in the sky at the time and place of your birth. Okay. So this line right here represents the horizon. Okay. 7:30 a.m. the sun had just risen. Okay. So literally if we would have looked to the east, okay, in Missouri, right, we would have looked up and we said, the sun is up, the sun is rising. Okay. All right. Right. If we had a telescope and we looked to the west, we would have seen these two planets setting, Uranus and Pluto setting. But these planets are so far out, and the sun was coming up, we probably wouldn't have been able to see them. But spatially, that's where they would have been. Okay. And we wouldn't have seen the moon because it was, in China somewhere. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. And this is dependent on the houses. So the houses are about the time of day someone was born. The time of day someone was born. Okay. The signs are telling us the time in the year. So when someone says they were born in Pisces, that means they were born the last month of winter. Okay. So from the astrological perspective, the year starts at the spring equinox. So usually March 20th or 21st. We call that 0 degrees Aries. Okay. So when someone says they're an Aries, they're saying they were born the first month of spring. Someone says they're a Taurus, okay, that comes after Aries, they're saying they were born the 2nd month of spring. Someone says they're a Gemini, like me, it means they were born the 3rd month of spring. Okay. A Cancer is where your moon is, the 1st month of summer. Okay. Summer solstice, Cancer. All right. Then the 2nd month of summer, Leo, the hottest month of the year, right? Fire sign. Okay. Then the last month of summer, the harvest season. Okay. Preparing for the harvest, work, labor. Okay. Virgo. And then we have the beginning of fall, right? The autumnal equinox is Libra season. Someone says they're a Libra, it means they were born the 1st month of fall, right? Then we have Scorpio, Halloween season, right? The sign of death, okay? Middle of fall, right? Winter's coming, okay? Then the last month of winter, Sagittarius, okay? Then we have the winter solstice, Christmas, we call that Capricorn. and then Aquarius, the middle of winter, the coldest month of the year. And then the last month, things are starting to warm up a little bit. We got Pisces, okay? And your sun was 1 degree Pisces. You were born the first day of Pisces, okay? That's what these numbers mean, right? So the planets tell us when in time. The signs tell us when in time someone was born, right? What year were you born? What year is this? What vintage is this? And the houses tell us what time of the day, okay? What time of the day. Right. That's how we organize this. And so because the houses are about the time of day, they're more about earth, the earthly plane. So that's why each of the houses refer to where in life, okay, these inner voices are concerned, okay, what they're concerned about, okay. All right. So okay, so I like thinking about planets as inner urges, because it helps us appreciate that some urges are stronger than others, okay? Some urges are stronger than others, okay? And for you, the strongest planet or the strongest urge is the planet we call Mercury, okay? And what's interesting about this is most people, they just assume that the sun, right, what's your sign, is the strongest planet. One, because it's easy to calculate because you just have to know when you were born. Right, because that's what the sun is telling us, when we were born. But the other planets, they change at different speeds, so you don't know. And until 50 years ago, it took 3 hours to calculate a chart. So it's just recently that people even have access to know where's your Jupiter, where's your moon. And so it's helping astrology to grow, because it's becoming more useful to people when they realize, wow, there's more going on than just my sun. Okay. And so I look at this chart and there's no Gemini. Okay. You said your mom was a Gemini. She says you guys were together. So I look at this chart, there's no Gemini. Okay. Gemini corresponds to the 3rd house. I look in the 3rd house, there are no planets in the 3rd house. Okay. Gemini is associated with the planet Mercury. Okay. I look to Mercury, right? Mercury is your strongest planet. Okay, so this is why, like, the complexity of astrology, right? If you were trying to do signs, our signs are compatible, you would miss it. But if you look at the planets, right, these are the dynamic forces, you see it, right? And so Mercury is your strongest planet. So that means your curiosity, right? Your desire to know, okay? Your desire to see clearly, okay, is the most important thing in your life. Okay, this is what it's saying. And I always tie the most important thing in our life to our life's purpose, because the strongest urge, the strongest voice we have in us, okay, that's the one that has the ability to do the most work, okay, to accomplish the most, okay? Accomplish the most, okay? All right, but sometimes, because of our early environment, it's poisoned, okay? And so our greatest gift is something that, gets twisted. And so as we become adults, we have to untwist it and create a better relationship with it so that we can love it and start to develop it. Okay, develop it. And so I think Mercury is like a 3-layer cake. Okay, it's our intellectual urges. Okay, our need to understand, our need to know, to measure too, to recognize. Mercury recognizes. Okay, and then it's communication. They recognize and then they want to share what they see. Okay, but if we're recognizing things, if we're not seeing things clearly, okay, then the information we pass along is not good information. Okay, not good information. So Mercury, if you think of the metal Mercury, okay, it's poisonous, right? It's poisonous. And it's showing how even if we're slightly off in our perception, okay, right? And those are the worst ones, the truths that are like 99% true, okay? Those are the ones that cause the greatest damage, because we're so confident that we missed something, okay? We missed something. So the key to Mercury is clear seeing, okay? Clear seeing, okay? Because Mercury is the messenger of the gods, okay? Right? And so if you're receiving messages from the gods that you're supposed to deliver to people, right? One little mistake, okay, right, can make a big difference, okay? Yes. And when you put the Mercury in Pisces, it adds more to this idea of the messenger of the gods, okay? Because Pisces is that in those frequencies that we can't see, okay? right? Mercury and Pisces is you see things that other people can't see, other people don't see, right? You notice things that other people don't notice, the sensitivity, okay? And it's tricky because, right, if you, right, especially when you're young, if you're speaking and giving words to the things that you see, people by definition are going to tell you that you're crazy because they don't have the ability to see them.
Right.
So a big part of it is to understand, like, you know, like how you've handled this is to understand, like, have you gotten to the point that you are living a life where you say 100% of what you see? And if not, that's a problem. Okay, something that needs to be attended to.
Mm-hmm.
But my guess would be no, because you know, when people tell you, especially when you're young, people tell you that you're crazy, you stop trusting what you see. Okay, you stop trusting what you see. And for you, like that's the worst thing that can happen, because what you see is so unique and so like subtle and refined. Okay, right? It takes it takes us, like, you know, it's like the image is like it's part of Mercury, a messenger of the gods. It's the storyteller. Okay, the storyteller, the teacher. Right? Meaning we take, whether it's a book, an experience, we take in the perception, and then we're able to share it with other people, right? Where they can glean information. Okay, information. Like here's what I've been saying lately, and this 100% applies to you. Okay, the greatest gift, oh, this applies so much to you. The greatest gift you can give someone is to say the thing that no one else will say to them. Okay, because we have so many things inside of us that are sleeping, right? Like Sleeping Beauty, and all they need is someone to have the courage to say something. Okay, and as soon as the words go in, it's like it wakes it up. Okay, but if we're too afraid that people are going to think we're crazy and we don't say anything, okay, right, then we feel crazy, right? And but worse, we don't feel appreciated for our gift. And your gift is to be able to notice things that other people can't notice. Right. And the gift is to be able to not only that, but to convey it to people in a way that they're willing to hear it. Okay. There's something like Saturn. Okay. The planet Saturn here. Saturn gives like it gives weight, gravitas. Saturn is lead. So there's something about, like, I felt it. There's something about you that people automatically respect more. You know, and so if you realize that, and realize, especially now, right, that you got some years behind you, right? You got some experience suffering, okay, right? So there's like gravitas there, okay? And so realizing, right, and as the wound heals, you'll know, because and this is so ironic, okay? The whole point of me wanting to do the podcast with Dan it feels very similar to this, okay? Because Dan is out there and people know that, but Dan is keeping so much of who he really is inside because he's afraid of how people might respond.
I can believe that. I can believe
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It sneaks out from time to time.
Yes. Yeah. And so I've been really like pushing him, you know, and I'm trying to say to him, like, you've made it to the top, Dan. Like, people respect you. You have to realize now you have permission to go there and say certain things that you want to say, and people actually, they're not going to think you're crazy. They're going to respect it.
That's one of the reasons why I'm always listening to it, because I'll even be, I'll be driving in the car, man. I mean, like, I can listen to episode after episode, and it was so funny, man, what you said about learning. All I do, man, if it ain't music, you know, because music is just a big, 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 huge part of my life. So much so that if I had to be blind or deaf, make me blind, because I got to hear music. You know what I'm saying? Like, music has saved my life. Yeah, but outside of that, man, I'm always reading, always listening to different podcasts, because I love to learn. I love to, and storytelling, and everything you said about
this is Mercury. This is Mercury.
Oh my God, like, that's all I do, man. I have an insatiable desire to learn interesting things, you know, from you know what I mean? It's so
100%. I'm telling you, this is what you are on the planet to do. Yeah. Okay. Right. Like, if I was your like your guardian angel, okay, when you were born with this chart, you know, I would have been like whispered in your ear, right? Is create a life where you get to spend all your time like reading, studying these interesting things, and getting to a place where you're able to tell stories, to teach, okay, to teach, right, to teach. This is a chart of a spiritual teacher, okay, of a spiritual teacher. And, you know, not like the kind on the pulpit, but like one that embodies it, you know. And so when they speak, it's like you can feel the real spirituality coming through their words.
So now you mentioned that. So this background is from my podcast.
Yes.
And it's just a YouTube channel, but again, man, the reason I do it is to teach what I've learned, to share my experiences. And I always start off with me. You know what I mean? So when I'm telling people stuff, it's like, no, I'm not, you know, I'm not pontificating on some bull. You know, like I'm telling you about me first. So before you think I'm talking about you, let me put myself out there. You know what I mean? And let you benefit from all of my bullshit. You know what I'm saying? All of my fuck ups. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show it to you. You know what I mean? That way you ain't gotta do it. At least you ain't gotta do it exactly like me. Maybe you'll do it a little bit different, but at least you'll learn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm, you know, I felt like you said, that suffering, man. That suffering, I've always felt like that suffering was to help others.
Yes, it was 100%. 100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's always to help others. And I've always felt like even when I have suffered, I felt something redeeming on the inside.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Even during it, even though I hate it. You know what I mean? And I also feel creative when I'm suffering. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's
100%.
It messes me up. Like, you know, I'd be like, man, you know, I could be depressed or really going through it. And then, man, I'll just kind of get quiet. And then all these ideas will come. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah. So what you just explained is that Pisces. That's Pisces. 100%. That's Pisces. Okay. That's why you read a book and it says all this mumbo jumbo. It's whatever. But what you just said, that is what Pisces is all about.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what it's about. And so it's tricky because the 12th house is the house of imprisonment, secret enemies. Okay. But also vacation. You know, I like to think of life as a school. Life is school. Okay. And, you know, at the end of first grade, at the end of any grade, right, we get the summertime. Okay. I think of the 12th house is like summertime. You know, you get to do what you want. Right. And if I'm applying this to the cycle of life, okay, the 12th house is what we call purgatory or heaven. Okay. We live our life and then we have this time of reflection to make sense of everything. You know, they say at the end of our lives, our whole lives flash in front of us. Okay. We do like this life review. Right. And they say that after the body dies, okay, right, the body dies and we go up and we do a more in-depth review. And we try the things that like tied us in knots on our deathbed that we couldn't quite figure out. Okay. We go back and we review until we understand what was the purpose of these events. Okay. But people like yourself, okay, who have done this work, right, while you're alive, okay, when you pass, you know, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm good. Okay.
And you know what? So look, we got to talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the reason why I hunger and thirst and why I signed up for this.
Yeah.
Because I tell my kids this, man. I've told people this. Man, I want to die empty. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, damn, you could have did this or you should we missed that. Like, I want to know because I have this. Like, I'm not afraid to die, but I do have a very aware sense of my mortality. So it's like, you know, like it's certain things, like when you talk about the things I need to watch out for, which I definitely want you to continue with that, you know, that's what I mean when I say I really want to be able to know and understand myself so well that I can be just free to be me in these spaces so that I leave nothing behind. You
so
know,
the only
no regrets, no promises, no potential.
I look at this chart. The only thing that you could leave behind, okay, the only thing that you could leave behind is something you did not say.
Okay.
Okay. So you know, I think about this, right? And again, I said like the goal of this chart, okay, is that the greatest gift you could give to someone, okay, is to say the thing to them that no one else will say. Okay, so I imagine a moment you're talking. Yeah, but here's that's part of the problem. Okay, because this is what I'm saying. This is what you're here to do. But part of what you're learning to do is work out how to do that constructively.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
Constructively. Okay.
Absolutely.
And the pattern that you were born with is to do that, but to do it with people who don't have the ability to handle it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the pattern like that you have to break is because what happens is like it often happens with our parents, right? There's something about our parents that they don't appreciate about us. Okay. And so we get locked into this pattern of trying to get the parent to appreciate something about us. Okay. And then when we go into our adult relationships, we attract people who the same pattern of we need to prove something that they have to get. Right. And so we just keep creating that. And to like break that spell, okay, is to recognize I keep attracting people who like don't get me. Okay. Right. Who can't handle my truth. Okay. And so think about what would it be like, and it might feel weird. What would it be like to have someone that like appreciates this part about me? Okay. Right. Or someone who I can do these things together with. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a big part of what I'm saying, the part I left out is making sure, right, that the people around you, right, can handle what you have to say. Mm-hmm. Huh? Mm-hmm. Can handle it, and the way you know, the only way you know is by saying it. And if they can't handle it, okay, thank you, but know that they're not it. And so instead of trying to get them, realize that they're not it. And if you let them go, then you can start to attract the people that need it, that appreciate it. Okay. Because 100%, there are people that need, right? People just like you that feel alienated and shamed for no reason. Okay. And suffer because of it. Okay. Right. Like they need to know, like, stop doing that shit, you know? Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And so again, I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's so like primal. Is the greatest gift you can give to someone, okay, is to say the things that no one else will, right? And here's where the sensitivity comes in, like, whoa, okay? So when I see a lot of water symbolism, okay, water symbolism to me directly tells me this person is a healer, okay? This person is a healer, okay? And one of the things about water symbolism and healing, I always say this, is you can't heal it if you can't feel it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So my wife, right? She's a Capricorn moon, Earth moon. Okay. And Earth moons, Capricorn moons, Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer. Cancer is sensitivity. Capricorn is no sensitivity. Okay. Right. Capricorn is like, I don't have time to feel this. I can't afford to feel shit right now. Okay. Right. Because I got to get shit done. I got to like do stuff. Right. You got a bunch of kids, I can't afford to take time and relax. I got to work, there's a Capricorn. I got shit to do. So I don't have time to feel. Okay. Cancer is the opposite. Cancer's like, I need to feel. That other stuff is not important. I need to take care of me. Okay. They're different. Okay. This chart is way more. I need to take care of my sensitivity so that I can function. Okay? Yes. Right? Yes. It has to be primary. So this chart requires time alone, and that people in your life need to know, right? Before they say anything, right? Check in. What kind of mood is he in? Okay. Right. And if he's not in the mood, give him some time. He'll be back. Okay. He'll be back. But you have to recognize that too and be able to say, give me a little bit of time, give me a little bit of time and I'll be back to you. Okay, right now it's not a good time. I got to take care of me, but no, right? I'll be back. I just got to take care of me. Okay. Mm-hmm. And right. And the right kind of people, right? You know what they'll say? Thank you. Okay. Right. Thank you. The wrong kind of people will try to force you or coerce you into doing what they want you to do. Okay. When you don't feel like doing it. Okay. So the whole point of emotions is you got to feel it to heal it, but you got to feel it. You got to listen to the emotions. Okay. And us men are shamed for listening to our emotions, right? Right? Like I have a Cancer moon too. Same thing with you. I was picked on. They called me like a bitch. Why are you whiny? Ugh, why you talk like that? It's just, yeah. I was a kid. Yeah. Woo! It's a lot, but it's people like us have it hard because who we are on the inside okay, is so different from what people see on the outside. So we have to like work so much harder just to be truly seen for who we are, okay, and appreciated for that. But it's worth it because the amount of healing we have the ability to bring is massive, okay? It's massive, you know, like the amount of suffering that we've been able to process, okay, not go through, because that's not helpful if you can't process it. The amount of suffering we've been able to process, okay, is a gift we have to offer people, because it gives them the experience and the permission that they can process their suffering too. Right? And the more joy that we can exhibit, right, they can see that the only way to that joy is to suffer and to be able to process it. Okay. Right? So
is the issue then like, so I guess then when it comes to suffering, you know, thoughts, feelings, emotions, you know, whether you feel down or whatever, that's just part of who I am. So I just might as well just accept that, like, you know, that's just
well, I would say when you say I, okay, and this is really tricky for a 12th house Pisces sun, okay?
Okay.
You like, because part of Pisces is transcending the I. Okay. What I'm saying is, if you experience suffering, right, it is not your personal suffering. Okay. You are sensitive to the suffering that exists around you.
I can see that.
And if we realize that we're not separate from our environment, then right, that's what I mean when I say sensitivity. Okay. There's two kinds of sensitivities. There's two basic sensitivities that we can see in astrology. One is more personal sensitivity. Like I'm sensitive to, like, you know, how we're sensitive to our family, right? Someone that we're close to, if they say something about us, it hurts more. Someone we don't care about says something, right? But the people that are our people, right, our clan, right, that we grow up around, that know us, that know our heart, okay? That's a certain kind of sensitivity that needs to be protected, okay? Right? Because if we let the wrong people in, right, they can like poison us. But if we let the right people in, they can nourish us, okay? That's the moon in Cancer, okay? So you have this kind of sensitivity in spades, okay? Right? The sensitivity not only to family, but also really to home and land, okay? So this means like literally the place that you live, the home, the city, the neighborhood, the town is extremely important, okay? Because you are sensitive to the environment. So if you're in an environment where people are miserable and depressed, guess what? Right? You're going to pick it up and you're going to exhibit that in your life. Okay. But the same way, if you're in an environment where there's love and compassion and sympathy, right, you're going to pick up on that too. Okay. Right. So the people that you call family, the place you call home, okay, right, that's on you. Okay. It's right. You're not feeling right. Things aren't going well. Okay. Chances are, you know, you're not in the right place. So learning to be sensitive, okay, right? You walk into a new place, okay? I feel like, pay attention, okay? It gives as valuable information. And in the same vein, okay, your dreams, okay? Your dreams are giving you valuable information. I would say in this chart, your dreams are more valuable to you than what you see when you're awake.
Wow. Okay. I have some crazy ass dreams, bro.
Yes. Yeah. But really starting like the simple question, you know, simple question. I wonder what this dream is trying to communicate to me. Okay. Because the dream is trying to put your heart into contact with something that it needs to feel so that it can heal. And when I say the healing is not typically going to be you, it's going to feel like it's you, but to know if something comes up in a dream that it's probably someone in your family, someone close to you, or someone in your environment that requires some kind of. And if you pay attention, I imagine you have a dream and you're like, I wonder what this is trying to tell me. Okay. And you get a vision, and maybe it won't, but later that day you'll be talking to someone and they'll say something and it'll remind you of the dream. Okay. And the message is whatever comes into your mind, say it. Okay. And if you think, if I say this, they're going to think I'm crazy. That's how you know you should be saying it.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's how you know you should be saying it. And the thing is, don't be attached to it. It's just information. And if you're around someone and a crazy thought comes in your head, the reason the thought came into your head is because you need to find a way to communicate it to them in a way that they can receive it. Right. And part of that is being sensitive. One, you know, can this person receive this? Because can they receive this abrupt truth? You know, those are the kind of messages that come to you. Those truths that are really deep and that wake you up. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what comes to you. But if you surround yourself with people that can't receive that, then you're going to suffer. If you surround yourself with people that can receive that, you're going to flourish. Okay. So like, if, you know, in my mind, I would say like, when you meet someone, like as soon as you can, okay, right, you want to let them know, okay, right. If you're going to hang around me, you're probably going to hear some things, you know, that at first are going to be hard to hear, okay, but if you let them sink in, right, they're going to wake you up to something, okay, right. You owning that, not letting it be something that's too much for people, but realizing there's certain people that need it, okay. And you have the ability to attract those people, okay? But you're going to attract, either you're going to attract the ones that fight against it, or you're going to attract the ones that love it, okay? You're going to attract both. You have to be able to pick which ones are which, okay? And here's a good way to get to the point, okay? If I were you and I met someone, okay, and I was interested in investing time into the person, okay? Well, I would want to know as soon as possible, okay, the worst things that have happened to them and their response to them, okay? Because someone starts telling you their story and they're still blaming other people, okay? That means you need to go, okay? Yeah. Right? But they're talking about it and they're talking about what they learned from it and how they grew, okay? That's someone that can handle you, okay? That's someone, but before you start sharing, you need to know what their response is to real truth. And if they can handle it, right, it's gonna go well. If they can't, don't, you know, how's the weather? Yes. Yeah.
So when you talk about sharing in that whole suffering thing, so you're talking about being selectively, because this is another area for me, is vulnerability.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes having a tough time with that, you know, like one of my favorite teachers is Brene Brown. So, you know, I'm about to start this last book of hers, you know, The Atlas of the Heart. And you know, so I do have issues, you know, with vulnerability, you know, at times, you know, just because again, you know, just from revealing certain things and then, you know, having a reaction that's like, you know, again, that's weird, or, you know,
that's the wound, right? That the nature is you tend to attract people who are going to think that what you say is weird.
Okay.
So it's what happens to someone, it's the complex of someone who's ahead of their time. Okay. And when we're ahead of our time, it means that we're giving people information. But there's two things. One of the times when we're ahead of our time, we're giving people information that we don't understand yet. We know it's true, but we don't understand, right? That comes in my mind, I know I gotta say, I know it's true. I can't explain it, but I know it's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. The nature of it is you're gonna say it and people are not gonna understand. Okay. So this is what's interesting. Like, again, the greatest gift you can give to someone is to say the thing that no one else will say. Okay. And so whether the person can receive it or not, it's still a gift, right? If they receive it, you feel good about it. If they can't, you don't feel good about it. Right. So it's going to happen anyway, but if you can be more selective, it's going to feel better and it'll lead to doing it more. If you're not selective, it's going to hurt and you're probably not going to do it as much. So in being selective, like, you know, I had a teacher and he said, you can't go too deep. You can only go too fast.
Yeah. Wow. I like that.
It's perfect. It's perfect for this chart. Perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. It sums up a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you throw the warning shots out there, right? Like, you crack the joke and you see how they respond. Okay. And if they respond right, you go a little bit more, right? But as soon as they show you that's where their limit is, you gotta like, honor that.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
You know?
I like
Yeah.
the way you said honor that, you know. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
then it takes it off of tripping off of what I'm saying anyway. You know what I mean? They if they're not down or ready for that, or you know, then I'm
Yeah.
honoring them, then I'm still giving them that respect that I desire to give everyone.
Exactly. And you'll see when you give them that respect, because everyone has been wounded by that situation where someone goes too far and they're not ready, so they get stuck there. But when you show compassion for that, right, it melts it, and then they're usually willing to go a little bit further. Right. And this theme that I'm touching on right now is really, I think, the key to like your healing power. Okay, because you have so much compassion, because it's the moment I like the healing moment. Okay, and it happens in a lot of different ways. It comes back to what I said, you got to feel it to heal it. Okay, there's something deep buried that we don't ever want to feel because it hurts too bad. So we have all these unique ways to rationalize or to avoid dealing with the subject. Okay, right. Okay, right. We live our but it doesn't ever heal, and so we waste a tremendous amount of energy dodging something that needs to be dealt with. Okay, and eventually it catches us. Okay, and it's not pretty when it happens that way. Okay, but if we have those friends, those soulmates, okay, that have the sensitivity and the compassion, okay, it's sensitivity to notice, right, and the compassion to care enough to not push us too far. Okay, right. When we have those friends that have both of them, and you have both in spades, okay, we have the friends that have both of those, and they can guide us, right, respectfully, slowly, easily into these dark places. Okay, then it makes it safe to feel, and as we feel, and they can hold that space, they allow the healing energy to come in. Okay, right. They allow it, and trusting that process. Okay. Because people are afraid if I go there, it's going to swallow me up, but it's not true. If you go there, right, and you have the courage to open your eyes, you'll see, right, it's actually quite beautiful down there. But, right, you got to unpack some stuff, right? You got to go back and feel it a little bit. But we can't do it on our own. We need someone who has been there before, who has survived before, so we know it's safe. Okay? Right? Okay. Again, as I say that, right, the greatest gift you can give to someone is to say that thing that no one else will say.
And you know what? It is so funny because I'm telling you, I've thought that so many times. Like I say things that other people think but won't say.
Yeah, 100%. That's what you're here to do.
Yeah,
that's what you're here. But as you do it, right, the tricky part is you can't take responsibility for it. It's just your job, right? It's not like I'm saying this, it's I'm the messenger of the gods, right? I'm just the messenger, right. Okay? Right. I'm just the messenger. And I feel like, oh my God, I got served the other day, you know, and I was like watching something on TV where a television show where someone got served and they were like freaking out, you know? And I feel like that's kind of like what you're here to do, you know, right? But there's a way to do it with compassion and love, because usually when someone is being served, they have to deal with something that they've been putting off, you know?
True. Yeah. That's true, bro. That's true. That's true.
So, but if like, what if we could get like that reminder before we have to get served, like, right, that last reminder is just take care.
Take care of it, yeah.
just take yeah. just take care of this, and like you can be that, right? If you, right, those voices that come is like you can be that voice that can let someone know, hey, maybe you need to take care of this before, right, you get served. Okay. Right, like that's one gift of this sensitivity, right? I've been there. Okay. Right, because to be not to be judgmental, but to be real about it, because I think to live life to the fullest, you have to master that sensitivity of how much you can get away with before you're going to get served.
Oh, I see you. Yeah, I see you there.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah, it is. That's real as
yeah.
That's real as all get out. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because it's real. Because if you're too afraid of like taking a chance, right, or living life because you feel under these restrictive rules, you're not going to be happy. But if you go too far, you're not going to be happy. So it's about finding how much I can get away with myself, okay? Right? In response to the environment. Like that's the game. And it requires this kind of sensitivity. Okay. Life is about learning, right? And we don't have to suffer if we're willing to enjoy the learning process. And you've learned that, right? That's why both of us, that's why we're so passionate about learning, because we know if we don't, life is going to teach us anyway. So we might as well enjoy that. We might as well get ahead of it and enjoy the process.
And it's fun.
It's fun because it's fun. It's fun. And it's fun because it's what you're here to do. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So what we can look at now for a minute is in astrology, you can look at like what's going on right now. And because I know I know what's going on right now for you, and there's some interesting things going on. So first one is I'll look at transits. Okay, so what we're looking at here is where the planets are. The inside is where the planets were when you were born. The outside is where the planets are right now. Okay, right now. And the planet Mercury. So you can think of a chart like a clock. Okay, meaning you look at a clock, and there's a hour hand and a minute hand and a second hand. Okay. Right. And they both go around the same circle, but they move at different speeds, denoting different length of cycles. Okay. The second hand denotes a minute. The minute hand denotes an hour. The hour hand denotes half of a day, 12 hours. Okay. But when we look at the chart, there's not 3 hands, there's 10. Right. But each of the 10 hands moves at a different speed. Okay. So when you read an astrology book, they talk about the average speed at which a planet moves, average, because they alter, they speed up a little bit, they slow down. Sometimes some planets go retrograde, they go in reverse. Okay, so, but the average speed is what we look at. So the average speed of the sun is a degree a day, and a circle is 365 degrees. So the sun takes a year to go around the chart. Okay, so every year when the sun gets to 1 degrees Pisces, okay, we celebrate Christopher's birthday. Okay, happy birthday. We call it a birthday. The solar returns, the sun returns. The moon takes 27.3 days to go around the chart. Okay, Mercury averages 88 days to go around the chart. Venus takes a little bit under a year. We go out to Jupiter, takes 12 years to go around the chart. Saturn takes 29 years to go around the chart. Pluto takes 250 years to go around the chart. So each of the planets move, they move at a different speed, okay? And again, they're moving through space, meaning through degrees of the zodiac, right? 0 degrees all the way to 360, and then they start over, okay? But each at different speeds. So when we're looking at where the planets are now, okay, this is moving at their own speeds, right, for your entire life, okay, for 10 years, you're 54 years the planets have been going around, okay? And if we see like the moon, okay, in 54 years, every month the moon has gone around the chart. So 12 times, I mean, that's a lot of math, okay? So the moon has gone around the chart thousands of times, okay? Sun has gone around the chart 54 times, okay? 54 times. Saturn has gone around the chart almost twice, okay? It's gone around once, okay? And it's at 19 degrees Aquarius. When you were born, it was at 28 degrees Pisces, okay? It's coming around, okay? For its second time. We call this the Saturn return. Jupiter has gone around 4.5 times, right? Jupiter's gone around 4.5 times. Pluto, right? A quarter of the way, a third of the way, okay? A third of the way in its cycle. Neptune, about the same, okay? About a third. Uranus, about 3/4, almost, a little past the half. So these slower moving planets, they move more slowly, and because they move more slowly, they unfold events in our life at a slower pace, Okay.
Mhm.
Whereas the sun, it moves pretty fast. It takes a day to move a degree, whereas Uranus might take a week and a half, 2 weeks to move a whole degree. Okay. So if the sun is going over, like now, the sun is at 20 degrees, the sun is 2 degrees away from your Mercury. I mean, 2 degrees past. Okay. So yesterday, the sun was at 19 degrees. 2 days ago, the sun was at 18 degrees. Okay.
Mhm.
So because Mercury is your strongest planet, I would predict that 2 days ago, right, you would have noticed that you were probably talking more, reading more. There's just more energy around Mercury. Okay.
Mhm.
But it's only for a couple of days. So sometimes if no one points your attention to it, you don't even notice. But let's say, COVID, okay, that first beginning of COVID, Neptune, which moves much more slowly, was at 18 degrees. Okay. And it was there for about 6 months. Okay. So when Neptune going over that Mercury for 6 months, you're gonna, especially your strongest planet, you're gonna feel that. Okay. You probably would have had more dreams, more wishful thinking. Okay. Neptune brings, it activates the imagination, right? And this Mercury in Pisces is already active, in the imagination. So it just would have been this heightened sense. And the purpose is to dissolve the way that you were seeing things. Okay. Right. But what Neptune does is it cleans the windows of our perception, our spiritual perception. Okay. And for you, like, you are the messenger of the gods, but again, seeing more clearly. Okay. Like, and I'm going to use like drugs just as an example.
Sure.
Okay. Because when Neptune goes over a planet, drugs are usually involved. Okay. Right. They can be involved in a negative sense if someone what they're saying is too intense for them. So they try to take drugs to blur it out. Okay. Or, right, they realize that what they need to see is beyond what they've been known even existed, and that the drugs can help them let go of their resistance to noticing things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. They're both drugs, but one is used in a way that frees and opens someone's mind, and one is a way of escape. And this is Neptune, Pisces, right? You're going to get both. You're going to get one or the other, or you're going to get both. And so it's about recognizing, when you recognize one, this is too much, and realizing, okay, I need to let go, right? God is trying to show me a vision. Okay. I might not understand, but I need to find a way to get out of the way so that I can receive this. Okay. And again, if it's going well, right, you should feel like you're losing your mind a little bit. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
If something
I was interested
about your mind that's.
I'm sorry, you were talking about, I don't want to forget this stuff before you have to go, but I was thinking about like what you said about seeing things deeper, and I was reading Will Smith's book, and he was talking about ayahuasca.
Yes.
And I was
100%.
like, man, I was thinking I'd be so interested in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't 100%.
know. This chart, you need it. I'm telling you, this chart says you need it.
Okay. So
because it'll free you. It'll free you to see what you really see. Yeah. Like my guess is you'll, on this experience, like, so many things that you've known inside, you're gonna like, this is gonna be like all these like light bulbs going off. Mm-hmm. It's gonna feel like you're coming home.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And it's time to do that. Okay. Your chart is saying chart is supporting this. Okay. It's supporting this. Okay. So the planet Jupiter. Okay. Jupiter is the planet that rules Pisces, the planet of faith. Okay. Hitting the ascendant. Okay. How accurate is this 7:30 birth time?
It's on my birth certificate.
Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to hear. Okay. No, that's where I got it from. Yeah, that's all I needed to hear. Okay. So this is, and I would say part of this Jupiter hitting the ascendant is this conversation. Okay. But this is a major moment. Like when I retired from the NFL in 2004, Jupiter hit my ascendant. Okay. When I left my first wife and I started to date my second wife, Jupiter hit my ascendant. Okay. And when you look in traditional astrology books, they say Jupiter is a planet of good luck. Okay. And it's faith. And it's when you believe in yourself, okay, good things happen. When you believe in yourself, good things happen. Okay. But here's the trick, right? Some people, they believe in the hype of themselves. And so when they believe in the hype of themselves, the good things happen, but it's fluff. It doesn't really actually help. Okay. So when Jupiter comes is when we really need to believe in ourselves. And if we really believe in ourselves, we're rewarded. Okay. So the major question that you need to be asking yourself right now, okay, for the next few days. And it's the beginning of a new cycle. Okay. The beginning of a new cycle. Okay. And in the beginning of any new cycle, right, however it starts, okay, it sets the pattern or the template for how it goes. Okay. So you're entering this new 12-year cycle. Okay. And it's a 12-year cycle of faith, belief. Okay. So the next couple of days, right. And if it hasn't already shown up, there's going to be opportunities to believe in yourself. Okay. And the question you have to ask is, where have you been underestimating yourself? Okay, that's one. And the second question is, where in your life can things improve? You know, to just get like, where do I need a victory? Like, where do I feel like I need to kill it? Okay. And in that, and something will come up. And in that area is take a risk, go for it. Because, you know, Jupiter says, what do you need? Okay. Ask and ye shall receive. Okay. Right. But it's why if you ask for the fluff, you get the fluff, it doesn't work. But to truly ask, like, where do I need a blessing? Okay. Where do I need a blessing? And then where can I put myself out there and show the universe that I have faith that the blessing is going to come? Okay. And whatever comes up, do it. All right. And you will be rewarded. Okay. You will be rewarded. All right. And it's going to kick off this new cycle. Okay. And I think also related to that is, it's funny. So the Mercury, right? Transiting Mercury moves pretty fast. Okay. And, you know, randomly, okay, transiting Mercury is on top of your sun. Okay. And I mentioned Mercury is the planet that rules Gemini. Okay. My sun, right, is Gemini. Okay. So I'm a mercurial person. Talking to you, having this spiritual conversation with you today, right? You see it in the chart, okay? And again, Mercury moves fast, so this is only there for a couple of days, okay? And it's saying that like the universe has ordained that you would receive some spiritual message today, okay? And it could have come in a lot of different ways, right? But because you were aware and you made these choices, it came this way, okay? It came this way. All right. The other thing that I noticed. So the transits are where the planets are right now, okay? And where the planets are right now, beginning of a new cycle, okay? Believing in yourself, trusting in yourself. And in that context, today, you're going to receive omens, information that you need, okay? Spiritual information that you need. Okay. Wow, this is so cool. And also the transiting moon, okay? This is interesting because it moves so quickly, right? It stays in a sign or a house for 2.5 days, okay? And it just entered your 4th house, which is the house of home and family, okay? And it's home, also our heart. And so it's saying that this is for the next 2 days, every month when the moon moves through the 4th, it's time for us, we feel more sensitive, okay? And already a sensitive person, right? We feel more sensitive. So this is a great time to like take care of the home, right? Like it'll be a great time. It's in Gemini, right? A great time to like look through your books, okay? You know, which of these books still feel good to me and which ones don't? And the ones that don't, get them out of here. Anything in your house, like what still feels good to me, okay? And if it feels good to you, keep it. If it doesn't, it's a good time to do some housekeeping, okay? Because we're sensitive to our home environment and we can utilize that sensitivity to nurture ourselves, okay? This is a 2.5 day cycle that happens every month for you, okay? And if we look at we're looking at now, these are progressions, a slower moving cycle of the moon. And we see the progressed moon also in the 4th house, okay? But this means, what I was talking about before is every month, 2.5 days, you just feel more like homey, okay? But this is also saying every 2.5 years, okay? Every 2.5 years in a 27-year cycle, okay? It's time, 2.5 years, okay? This is a long period. It's time to check in and see, like check in, is this place, right? The people I'm around, does this really feel like home to me, okay? And this 2.5 year period for you started 18 months ago, okay? A little over 1.5 years, okay? The progressed moon moved into the 4th house. And very often when this happens, we need to at least consider, does this place feel like home? Okay, because often when the progressed moon is in the 4th house, people move, but they move because they feel like this place doesn't feel like home. Okay, but right, that's the physical part. But the other part is the point of the physical home is that when we find the place that feels comfortable, okay, or we find the people that feel comfortable, we sink in, we feel, and we reveal more parts of ourselves, right? If we're around someone and we feel tense, we don't share how we feel. When we're around someone and we feel comfortable, sometimes we don't want to share, but we feel so comfortable, it just comes out, okay? Right? And that gives us the ability to get in touch with our deeper selves, okay? This is really the value of family in this context. The people that get us and we feel safe around, we can reveal more parts of ourselves, and we get to learn about parts of ourselves that have been too buried or too wounded to come out. But we're in that safe spot. They come out, we feel it, we get to heal it, okay? So it's saying right now, the larger scheme of the 27.5-year cycle, okay, is you got another 4 months. You got another 4 months of that. So you'll have 4 more trips of the faster moving moon moving through the 4th house to help you nurture and get in touch with yourself. And I think having this kind of conversation is great, you know, wonderful. Sitting in the comfort of your own home, having a conversation with another Cancer moon, right? My moon, when I was born, was at 11 degrees Cancer, okay? Right where your progressed moon is right now, okay? This is just really cool connections, interactions, okay? There's a lot between our charts, you know, that there would be some kind of connection or resonance. Okay?
So when you say family, I was having a conversation with a brother a few days ago, and I was explaining to him that because of the dynamics of my family, you know, I knew my dad, you know, I knew his mom, stepfather, and then I met his brother once. So on my mother's side, though, I know a few more people, but not a whole lot, you know, and I was kind of isolated a lot in my life growing up, you know. I was with my mom till I was like 14, and then I left and was living with my dad. And, you know, but I was really kind of really raising myself for real. He just dropped me off, you know, that sort of thing. So, so when I talk about family, you know, it's pretty small, you know what I mean? But so by extension, the people who I trust, the people who are like, if I'm down with you, I'm down with you, they become like my family. Like literally.
That's what I mean by family. That's what I mean by family.
Okay.
I don't mean blood.
I don't mean relatives. Yeah, because I'm like, there's a big difference. Like there's relatives and some of them are family.
Yes.
And there's family. But to me, like if I call you brother, like you my brother. Like I mean that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
that's what I'm saying.
Love is a decision for me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a decision. I decided to love you. You my man's. You my man's. I mean, I got you.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean by family.
Okay.
You know, that's because the family we grow up is not our family. They're not our family. Okay. They're our relatives, but they're not our family.
Okay.
They're related to us, but they're not like family is the people that know your heart and they accept it. You know, and it's hard for the family to be able to do that because their job is to keep you alive. You know, it's not to love you. Even though we're taught family's job is to love us, it's actually not. It's to keep us alive. Love is something like you said. We have to find who our people are, and we have to choose. We have to choose.
Right.
We have to choose that because if we choose to love the wrong people, as you know, this chart says there's a tendency to choose to love the wrong people. Okay. If we choose to love the wrong people, we suffer. Right.
How does that happen?
It's like I was saying earlier, is we get locked in patterns. So Dan and I, we had this really intense conversation this morning about this. Mm-hmm. He was talking about his parents and how he kept saying the word love. And I was pointing out, that's not love, okay? That's not love. But he kept trying to, because we're taught our parents are supposed to love us, but it's not true, okay? Our parents are supposed to keep us alive, and loving us motivates them to do that. So there's love, but the primary motivation is keeping us alive. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right? It's keeping us alive. And if we're lucky and we get parents that we just naturally vibe with, then there's some appreciation and the love can flow. But you get parents and, you know, you're just opposites. Okay. You know, too much energy to create love in that situation. It's not efficient. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can understand that.
It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like sometimes not having a quote unquote family is a gift because we don't have to unlearn so much. And it's easier for us to recognize who our true family is. Because your chart says you were born with the sensitivity of of spiritual family. Okay. And not those, it's a cleaner bond. You know, I was talking to Dan and I said our earthly parents, it's not their job to love us. That's our heavenly parents' job. Right? And so to not find our earthly relatives, but to find our brothers in Christ, right? Our brothers in the spiritual realm. Okay? And a big part of this chart is about finding your spiritual family. Okay. It's and you know, we have a term, ride or die. So this chart is about finding your spiritual ride or die family. Okay. Right. I love this. Okay. The image I get is at the end of your life. Okay. At the end of your life, right? You're surrounded by these ride or die, like spiritual family. Okay. And the sentiment in the room, okay, is one, you're empty, right? But because of that emptiness, the feeling is, I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Right. That the kinds of bonds, family members, yeah, you're here. There are the kinds of family bonds that survive the physical, because the work you guys are doing together, okay, is at a higher realm than the physical plane. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Absolutely. Good. Yes. Okay, so do you have any questions?
I don't know.
It's a lot, I know. It's
a lot. And I always say to ask good questions, like, you know, like you got to be intelligent just to know what damn question to ask.
Yeah.
You know?
But here's
no,
that's
so much information, and I'm like sucking it all in. You know,
yeah. It's a lot. So my suggestion would be, if you like to go back and watch this, and as you do, you'll start to like pick it up because hearing it again, and then the questions will just start to pop. So one thing I will say to clarify is what I was saying about the pattern of attracting partners that aren't a good fit. Okay, is the seventh house. Okay, the seventh house. Okay, it's telling us what our thoughts, our inner experiences, the thoughts of the soul are thoughts and feelings around partnership. Okay, partnership. And so we look at the two planets in the house of partnership to tell us what are the major thoughts and feelings and associations that you have around a partner. Okay. And when I say you, I'm talking about the soul, right? The inner experiences that your soul needs in partnership. But what's tricky is as soon as we're born, the world tells us what we're supposed to be doing in partnership. Okay. And they can conflict. And this is a chart where they 100% conflict. Okay. So I'll start with Pluto. No, I'll start with Uranus. Okay. So Uranus is the planet of our individualistic urges. Okay. Our need to be ourselves, our need to not care what other people think about us. Okay. So this says in the relationship, you're going to attract people, okay, who need to not care what other people think about them. Okay. And so, it doesn't, but sometimes that gets into trouble because you have a chart where you need sympathy from people. You need to care, right? Because there's so much sensitivity. So there's this need for people to connect to you, to bond to you. But if you attract people that are too alienated and too separative, then you're going to feel like you're starving all the time, right? It'll make you turn into like a little puppy or a child, like just trying to get a sip, you know? Just give me a sip.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You ever see that cartoon, Ricky, when you was a kid? I don't know if you watched Hanna-Barbera's, but it was just like the dog and stuff. He'd be running by with the big dog.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
hey,
yes,
Gonna play,
yes,
gonna play,
yes,
gonna play,
yes,
gonna play
yes,
Scott.
yes, yes. That's it.
I like
Honestly,
Spike.
like
He's my
I'm
friend.
telling you, Spike is the perfect thing that you attract spikes. That's like a perfect image. That is a perfect image. What's funny is Pluto rules gangsters. It rules gangsters, right? Spike was like a rough, like, you know, that's the kind of people. That's, you nailed it. Okay, you nailed it, right? That is beautiful.
That shit is hilarious.
Yes.
Oh shit. So why do spikes find me attractive? That's another damn question.
Well, it's because you guys are meant to partner. Okay, the spikes are in the partnership, but you have to find a way that with that energy. I like the image, like what's a partnership that would actually feel good to you? But the history is that relationship hasn't felt good. So every time you go to thinking how it's gonna feel good, all the memories of how it hasn't felt good in the past will come up.
Yeah.
And so you have to like kind of wrestle with that and say, like, how can you utilize that kind of spike energy in your life? Right? Like how can you make it useful? And the idea is the right kind of spike people will help you, okay, not care what people think more, okay? Because that's what you need to bring the intensity that you're here to bring, right? And it's tricky because you have the sensitivity, but you need help depersonalizing it or hyper personalizing it to the sense of this is my spiritual mission. Okay, because Pluto is where we experience cooperation. Okay, I think of like Jonah and the whale. Okay, God told him to go to Nineveh and speak, and he's like, I don't know. Right, and he's like, I'm not doing it. So he got on the ship. There's a shipwreck. Okay, swallowed by the whale. Finally, he was like, fine, I'll go speak. Okay. Right, but he was forced. He was forced from a shipwreck. Right, he was coerced into doing it because he didn't want to cooperate. Okay, didn't want to cooperate. So wherever Pluto is where we experience this intense need for cooperation. Okay, so this is why I say a ride or die. Okay, but it has to start with what is your vision to live a life where you're empty. Okay, right, that's the starting point. Okay, and then next is who's coming with me. Okay. And the people that are coming with you are people that don't care what other people think and I have that same kind of drive and intensity. Okay. That's the positive version of spike. Okay. And the more you realize that's what you need to be able to do what you're here to do, then you'll attract that version of it. Okay. And coming full circle, the test, okay, is you see how real they are. Is it real or are they still like blaming other people? Okay, because you're either going to get the rebel the intense rebel that's blaming other people, or you're going to get the wise ride or die who doesn't care what people think, who's not afraid to be themselves and encourage you and inspire you to be yourself. That's how you're going to recognize them, because when you're around them, you feel more of that energy. Like you feel more like, let's do it. Okay, right? Because with seventh house partners, you got to find people that match your intensity. Okay, you got to.
Do I need to learn how the chart works just so I can see where I am, like, as the time goes by?
That's what I would suggest, because 100% I would suggest that.
And how do I do that?
It's a good time. So do you like to read? Do you like how do you like to take in information?
Most of the time, because in addition to my 9 to 5, I referee like 7 different sports. So I spend a lot of time in the car going to this field, that basketball thing, that lacrosse thing, or whatever. So I listen to a lot of Audible.
Okay. So I think I'll send you some book recommendations from Audible to get you started.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can do that. Give me a day or two and I'll get those over to you.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, this was great, Christopher. Thank you.
Man. Thank you. It was so funny because even at the time when I did it, I was like, I'm picking times out. I'm like, oh man, that's a whole month and a half. I was like, it'll be right on time. It'll be cool. But man, I so appreciate the service, man. I really do. I really do. And man, shoot, you could tell Dan, one of your students, man, saying the same thing, man. That's what I love about that dude, man. The chances he took, the take that he takes, you know, the way he brought his producer back when ESPN got rid of him. I mean, I just saw all of that. I saw how he cares for people. And even when he talks about politics, you know, I see he cares about, he's altruistic. That's how I grew up. I grew up altruistic, you know, a little more hard now, you know, realistic, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
But I get that. I get that. Man, I get that. So yeah, tell him you ain't the only one that's telling him that, you know, that there's people that get a lot, you know, like I don't listen to this dude for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like I may laugh at a certain thing here or there, but I get something out of it, man. You know what I'm saying? I really am.
Yeah. Okay. So one more thing I want to leave you with, okay, is yeah. So in a chart, I talked about like the strongest planet, which means the one that is like the most, has the most power. Okay. And for you, it's Mercury. So the thing to work on is seeing clearly, spiritually seeing clearly. Okay. But the planet that is the most harmonious, the one that'll bring you the best luck, okay, is Venus. Okay. What this means is your ability to make people feel good. Okay. Your ability to make people feel good. Okay. And I don't know if you're ever into numbers, but your lucky number is 6. Okay. 6. Okay. And your lucky color is the color yellow.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm just giving that information. You see a 6, take that as a good sign. Okay. If you're in a situation where you need to feel good, remember the color yellow.
Okay. You were talking about you were talking about learning how to, I forget the term. You just said it a minute ago about learning how to see.
So
Like,
the big thing of learning how to see is there's been so many things that I would say there's so many things that the universe has been trying to show you, but because of fear that you're crazy, it's like I didn't see that, right? And so it's just realizing, okay, maybe I have done that and saying, all right, I'm ready to see now. Okay. And then the way you prove it is when you're around people and you see a vision or a thought or an image or a story, open your mouth, because it's like there's a flow of energy. Okay. And the energy comes in because there's something you need to say. And if you open your mouth, it comes out and then more energy comes. And that's what will allow you to actually see.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I don't want to be, you know, second guessing myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's the whole thing. You just have to know. And the only way you're not going to second guess yourself is you just say it. And then you see what happens. Okay. Say it and see what happens. But recognize it. But again, the other part is before, ease into it, right? Make sure someone can handle it. Give them the little ones. And then if they can handle it, let it go. And then see what happens. And then I messed up. How do I learn from this? Right. I thought when I started like being more assertive, I realized, I'm going to mess up, right? I'm going to lose it on some people and it's not going to feel good. But I knew that each time I would learn and I would figure it out. Okay. So you gotta be compassionate with yourself and that you are committed to getting better. So, right. You might say the wrong, but you're going to figure it out. Just know that's what you're here to do. And all these experiences, right, are here to help you practice so that you can become better at it.
My brother.
Yes.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes. Thank you, Chris.
So I look forward to those books, man. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Please keep in touch. Yeah, please keep
I will, brother. I will. That's your email on the thing, right?
Yep. That's me.
I sure will. Look for those books in a couple of days, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.